Okay, so I've been talking about doing YouTube videos and stuff, and some people are probably like, "Well, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what kind of videos? What are you talking about? Uh, Uploads? What are you talking about? Uploads? Uh, isn't most of that stuff already up there? Why would you upload it?" Well, and so for that's the thing for me really is I was going around, I was watching a bunch of, different videos of just various people from various scenes back in the 90s, and they were talking about how, they've noticed that things are different with the way that kids approach subculture now. That, kids, especially with all this social media, Instagram stuff, that, they're dividing themselves into, like, just the look. But even, like, I don't even mean just, like, like a goth kid saying that they're a goth kid and they're not like a punk kid or anything like that, or that they're not, preppy. I mean, like, people doing stuff like, oh, well, you're, like, cyber goth or whatever, and you're not like a romantic goth, or you're not, a death rocker or whatever. And so all this stuff, and that was just the one example in the video that I saw. But I mean, it applies to a lot of stuff actually, and lots of different scenes. All the scenes. There's, especially in the '90s, there's a lot of splintering going on, and people were, splitting up and doing their own thing musically, but it doesn't mean people were splitting up and just like totally segregating themselves from each other. Um, if you went to a club like that, it's not like you only saw, oh, they're playing EBM here. You're only going to see kids with like fluorescent fucking neon things around their bracelets and, goggles on their heads. And no, you probably get a whole bunch of different types of people there. And that's kind of the whole point, is that a lot of these, it's what subculture was and what it is now is totally different. Subculture was exactly what it was, the sum of all the parts. The fact that you had events where you had people of all type, you had metalheads, or you had, fucking punk kids, or you had just dirty, you had fucking normies showing up that weren't trying to be, cool or anything. That they were just dressed the way that they were fucking dressed, and maybe they listened to, like, In Sync or something like that. And, they just happened to be this kid that you'd gone to high school with, and you ran into sometime, and he, like, wanted to listen to what you were listening to, and he really liked it. You looked at the kid and you were like, how the fuck do you even like this stuff? Look at the way you're dressed. And that's kind of the whole point, is what the fuck does it even matter how anybody's dressed? What matters is if you're into the music. And it doesn't matter what kind of music, and it doesn't matter how many styles or how many events you go to, really. But I mean, the context of it is, if you're going to talk about stuff, it's like, what matters is the experience. Like, if you say you're part of a scene, well, how long were you in that scene? What did you do in the scene? What was your contribution? Or if you didn't really directly contribute, what can you contribute now by just, relaying your experiences? Versus now, it's just like, okay, well, I see a look I like, and I'm saying that's what I am, and I never go to any of the events for this, type of genre or music ever in my life, but this is what I am. And, for me, I don't think it works that way, and I don't think it ever worked that way for us back at the time. So that's just one thing. I feel like, there's just a really screwed up, incorrect mentality about a lot of this stuff, and that some of it's probably our fault too. Is that, we like to keep a lot of this stuff to ourselves too. You weren't just like out and passing this around, uh, because you didn't want posers showing up just to be like, oh, I'm like listening to this stuff because that's what's cool this month, and I'm not going to be at the event next month. I mean, that's no good for anything. So maybe the fact that people have, these really kind of unclear ideas of what breakcore is or was or ever, what was the scene like, what power noise, any of that stuff, uh, it's because we never explained it, and we never fucking took any of the kids that are growing up now and said, hey, you know what? Like, this is what it was like then, and this is what we did, and there's no reason you guys can't do the exact same things now just because you have cell phones and you're more attached now. That, maybe you don't have the, total need to organize an event where you all get together because you can just, talk to each other on the phone and in a chat room, like on a live stream or something like that. But that's not, is that a subculture really? And if it is, it's not that's a internet subculture. That's not a real world subculture where people are going out and getting together, and the sum of whatever happened that night, what bands played, that was all the result of people organizing and coming together and having to do something to organize an event that there was no other way they were going to be exposed to stuff like that. If back in the day, if you wanted to listen to really obscure stuff, you had to go out and find it. You had to go to the record store and listen through records. Lots of the times records wouldn't even be labeled. It's a white label. It has, might not even say who it's by. You have to pick it up and you have to listen to that and go, oh, this is good or this is not good. This is my style or this is not my style. And even in cases like that was the cool thing. You could listen to something and be like, oh, this is not, no, I don't like this at all. But you know what? Hey, you just walked in here with me, you drove me, and I know you're really into this stuff, so here, you listen to this. And then, sometimes you wouldn't even find stuff. It would be your friend found something that he thought it was one thing, and it turned out not to be that thing he wanted, but it was exactly what you were looking for, and you would have never known. You just walked in there. How would you have known to walk, halfway down the store, turn right, and, go to the H section, go to the part where there used to be bands here, but all those records have been bought, and so something's in the wrong place. You had to stumble upon it. You didn't just, nobody just clicked on something that said suggest other bands, and then you just found it that way like it is now. So I feel like there's that whole aspect of going out and connecting to other people seems to be lost, and so maybe that's part of the reason why kids are so, everyone's talking about how they feel so disconnected and so lonely, and when we've never been more connected than others. So what the hell is that all about? So I mean, my whole thing is basically I just want to have conversations. It doesn't have to be with people I know. It doesn't have to be with people I ever met with. My whole thing is really, I think it would be healthier for everyone if those of us that experience things when other people weren't alive to experience them, well, let's pass that knowledge on. Let's be like, hey, breakcore, there's a lot of really awesome stuff, but if you go and you're looking for it and you just type it in the Google search engine, is everything that was ever played at the shows that we went to going to be there? You try it. Go to Google that stuff. 50% of that stuff at least, you can't even find it by searching the name. By searching the exact title of the artist and the record and the label, won't even come up. Or something comes up that it's like, like I was looking up, like Mono I have a record that's like, it's a limited, I have number 286 of 500 pressings. Can I find that? Can I go on YouTube and like go, oh, I want this song, this track was really fucking nuts. I want somebody, I want kids to be able to hear what this is like. Well, I can't do that. You want to know why? Because I go and Google that. I go on YouTube and you put it in the search box. It's not there. It doesn't exist as far as they're concerned. As far as, internet history is concerned, that never happened. That was never part of the culture. That, and we know that's false, but other people don't. They know only as much has been told of them. So why would they, expect that anything that's been written down or explained to them would be different than they already think it is? So, I mean, I'm going to wrap it up because this is going to be about 10 minutes, but that's basically where I'm at right now, is just wanting to kind of like go through things, upload some stuff I have that just doesn't exist as far as the internet says, and just have discussions like how do you have these disparate scenes from different times that 20 years later you listen to it and they would all fit in the same set. How is that possible? How do you get this unique evolutionary convergence of music where people that aren't goth in a rave scene end up making stuff that really sounds appropriate at an industrial club? How does that happen? And how does it happen that, people that were directly following that path make stuff that sounds the same? That's the kind of stuff that we should be, interested in. Kind of tying up all these loose ends and making, explaining to people how you can replicate what we had and the type of, uh, passion we had for this stuff that we think is so lacking now. Well, if we think that's a problem, then let's try and change that. Let's try and, pass along some of that information. Because otherwise, like, all the memories I have, they're going to be worm food, when I die. If I don't tell anybody about that stuff, it's like it never happened. And I know about all these records and stuff that, that happened. That all happened in history. There's no denying it. So that's basically where I'm at. And if anybody has any, comments or questions or anything like that, I mean, yeah, I haven't checked in with people in a while. Of course, people are going to be like, hey, what are you up to? Yeah, yeah. But, I mean, really, there's only so much of that I can address. That's a whole nother story. But I just want to really kind of, this is my main focus right now. So if I have future uploads, it's going to be stuff along this line. So, yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.